I need help. I've tried writing this down 3 times now, or maybe 4. The days are bleeding together, blurring into something shapeless, something unreal. I don't sleep much anymore, and when I do, I dream of numbers. Numbers scrawled in ink. Numbers shifting, rearranging, whispering secrets I don't want to hear. David has been gone for 16 days. The police don't think it's serious. People disappear all the time, they said. Sometimes they just need space. They don't understand. David was not the kind of man who disappeared. He was meticulous, obsessive. He built his entire life on structure, precision. His world was numbers, transactions, investments. He lived for the empire he was constructing, brick by digital brick, deal by careful deal. He worked late, rarely spoke, barely ate. He had a way of staring at his laptop screen like it contained the answers to everything. Sometimes I wondered if he even saw me anymore. And then, one morning, he was just gone. His phone was on the desk. His car was still in the driveway. His laptop was open, mid-transaction, cursor blinking in an empty field waiting for input. The coffee cup next to it had gone cold. The police searched. They found nothing. No signs of struggle, no forced entry. Maybe he walked out on you, one of them suggested, shrugging, as if a man like David Carter would ever abandon an unfinished project. They don't understand. It started with the chair. David's office is exactly how he left it, except for that one thing. Every morning since he vanished, his chair is turned. At first, I thought maybe I bumped it, but I don't go in there much. I didn't want to disturb anything. Still, I'd straighten it, make sure it was tucked neatly under the desk. But the next morning, it was turned again, facing the door. Just slightly. Just enough. I pushed it back. I made sure. And the next morning, it was turned again. It became a ritual. Fix the chair, check the room, tell myself I was imagining things. But the feeling lingered. The sense that something was watching. Something waiting. Then the papers started shifting. David's desk was always a mess. He had this habit of scrawling figures on whatever scrap of paper was closest, contracts, invoices, even the back of old receipts. But after he disappeared, I organized everything. I filed it, cleaned the desk, made it neat. The next morning, the papers were scattered again. At first, I thought maybe the window was open. A draft, a gust of wind. But the window was shut, locked. And the numbers, they weren't the same. They weren't David's. They were mine. My handwriting, my neat looping script, rows of figures, banking details, account transfers, each scheduled exactly 3 hours apart, just enough to avoid detection. I don't remember writing them, but my fingers were stained with ink. I stopped going into the office at night. But the noises didn't stop. At first it was subtle, a whisper of paper sliding against itself, the faintest creak of wood, a sound so small, so insignificant, that I almost convinced myself I imagined it. Then last night, I woke up gasping. Not because of a dream, because of a sound, a scratching noise. It came from beneath the floor, beneath the chair. I lay there, frozen, barely breathing. My mind grasped for explanations. Mice, the house settling, anything rational. But I knew. I knew before I even went downstairs. I shouldn't have gone downstairs, but I did. The office was silent, still. The chair, as always, was turned toward the door. And the floor beneath it, the floor was wet. A dark stain seeped through the wood, thick and sluggish. It smelled like David's aftershave, that crisp, familiar scent that used to linger on his collar. But underneath it, there was something else, something rotten. The police came again today. They asked about the fresh dirt in the backyard, the flower bed I replanted last week. But that's not where they should be looking. They never look in the right place, and they never ask the right questions.